This video is specific to OCI application for foreign spouse. You could be doing this from any country, even from India. You'll get to see how to do this application. There's only one place where you have to fill up the application, and depending on the country where you are, you'll have to deal with the service provider of that country. Now, as a foreign spouse, you have to be married for more than 2 years at the time of applying for OCI card. So, if you have only met this criteria, you will be able to go ahead with the application. If you have not, you will have to wait for 2 years after marriage to do the application process. You then fill the application. You will have to go through an interview process first before you go with the application submission. So, I'll show you how you can do that process part. Again, I'm showing for Canada. You can find for the country where you are, where you'll have to submit certain document, you have to go through interviews, you'll get to see that form part. Now, if your foreign spouse has ever served in military or police of foreign country, then the update is that they won't get OCI. This is the latest information I have got, and someone did mention that their application was rejected. So go through the video once. You will get to know how to fill the application, what all details to be given, what documents to be given, how to ensure that your documentation is correct and you don't get frustrated when you are especially dealing with the service provider. So most of the talking I'll be doing on the computer screen. This is the Consulate General of India website for Toronto. Again, depending on which location you are, every location will have its own website. But when you're filling the application, you have to come to this website, ociservice.gov.in. This is if you're doing from US and you come to the same website. This is High Commission of Wellington, New Zealand. Again, you are directed to the same website. So ociservices.gov.in is the place where you will do the application filling. This is the directory where you can find all the Indian mission in case you are not sure about the website. Here the details are given country-wise and you will be able to go to your specific country from where you are applying. If you are doing from India, it will be processed through FRRO. That detail you will find in the video. So it's a long list. This will be there in the description for you to easily have a hand on. You will fill the application. We will see how the application filling happens in a short while. And once the application is filled, you don't directly go to the service agency and submit it. You have to go through an interview process. Again, for the interview process, how to initiate? You will first prepare and collect all documents, and all these documents must be self-attested by applicant unless instructed otherwise. Now, here, you see here, there are two scenarios. One is where the Indian origin spouse is a OCI card holder, that is now a foreign citizen holding OCI. Then these are the documents B, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L and M. And if the Indian origin spouse is Indian passport holder, then B, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. So these are the documents. Again, if any of the document is from foreign country which is other than India, in that case, you will need a apostle, and if the language is not English, then you will have to get that translated in English. Make sure you have that upfront, and this is going to reduce your timeline. First one is the printout of the online application form which you will fill, and whatever form you're filling in that, these documents will have a role to play. That is, you are entering exact detail as it is entered in these documents. No guesswork. Whatever is written in the document, same exact thing you transfer on the application form, and that way you ensure that there is no mistake. Then your current valid foreign passport. So in Canada, there is only one page where the details are. So that copy of passport page. If the country from where you are applying has multiple information page, then you will attach those multiple pages. Like in India, the front page and the last page has information. If your country also follows something similar to that, then you will have to attach that page too. That will be attached. Then proof of address. It could be driving license, photo issued by provincial government, or utility bill, that is gas, electricity, water, or landline telephone. Phone bills, bank statement are not accepted as a valid address proof. So make sure you have one of the document. If you have driving license, it will have address, and that is exactly what you will be entering in the application form. That way everything matches and no mistake happens. Professional detail of the applicant. Here you can add the company offer letter. The best way is to reach out to your HR and ask for the detail on a letterhead where your name, designation, from which date to which date you have been working, what your profession is, and job duties that can be listed. If that is not available, then you can attach the job offer letter, and then you can attach some of the pay stub, and if you have any tax statement, that can be attached. So that should work. Again, you have to self-attest this document. So anything which is going as a photocopy will be self-attested. Again, depending on the country where you're applying, it could have little variation. For example, I'll show you this checklist from New Zealand, and in New Zealand, you have to give a copy of JP attested with any document which is going as a photocopy. So again, that's why I'm saying that application filling is standard. When it comes to the checklist submission, there are slight variation, including the fee. So make sure you go through every single detail before you do the submission part. Copy of registered marriage certificate, date of marriage registration should be at least 2 years prior to date of applying of OCI card. Now, marriage certificate issued from India, this has to be apostilled by the Ministry of External Affairs, New Delhi. And I had got my apostle done in an easy way. I had a friend who helped me out. But if you don't have that option, there are service provider. You can just Google and they can get that done for you, of course, for a fee. So you can check what's prevailing rate and other stuff, and they will get it attested from this Ministry of External Affairs. Otherwise, the charges are not high, but since you may not have presence or you may not be able to do directly, in that case, you can check for the services. Then comes copy of spouse foreign Canadian passport, and then comes the copy of spouse last held Indian passport if spouse was earlier Indian, because the spouse here has OCI card. Copy of spouse surrender certificate, and then the birth certificate of applicant. It should display name of both parents. Based on place of issue of applicant are required to follow this procedure. Birth certificate issued by, if it is foreign country, then it has to be self-attested copy of the certificate. If it is issued by Indian authority, then copy of certificate apostilled. So apostilled as it was done in marriage certificate, this will have to be done. Then copy of spouse OCI and confirmation of permanent residence. In this case, whatever the landing document was, that will have to be attached. And then now you have a mandatory declaration by Indian origin spouse. So this declaration has to be given where the OCI application reference number has to be entered. This the spouse can find on the last page of OCI card, and if the spouse has access to OCI application online, then that can be found even there. So once that is entered, make sure the voter ID and ration card have been surrendered by the spouse. I made a separate video on how this surrender can be done. In case it is not done, let that be done along with this declaration. Then signature of OCI applicant. This could be confusing because you are the applicant and you are submitting spouse detail. So in this case, both of you can sign on this piece of document, you as an applicant, and mention spouse detail and make a signature. That way the confusion gets avoided. Then comes the photograph. Again, photograph dimension is given. I have made a separate video how you can make sure that the photograph matches the requirement. You can check that video. And then comes the fee. In case of foreign spouse, you don't immediately pay the fee because you first have to send all your document for the pre-check and go through the interview process. Only after the interview process is cleared, then you go ahead with the fee, and this fee will be paid at the service provider desk. So once all the documents have been gathered, so far we saw the spouse who is a OCI, and if it is Indian spouse, here you see, in this case, all these are similar. Here, instead of OCI card, in this case, spouse confirmation of PR or the landing document will be given, and COPR is not required if applicant is Canadian citizen by birth. You see here. So this is the one. And then you also don't give the mandatory declaration because here the spouse is still Indian. So the spouse does not have to give this because, and the spouse is still eligible to vote in India. Then the photograph is also similar. There is no change in all of this. And then comes the fee part, which we will see in a while. You send all the organized document, make sure everything is taken as PDF and made into single file. That way it's easier for the receiver to have everything together. And once you have organized everything, send to this email address if you are in Canada. Likewise, depending on your location where you are, there you'll have to send email. Again, you can go to the specific website which I showed, and there you can check where that document has to be sent. So you will have this document pre-checked, and then there will be an interview which will be conducted at either consulate or high commission. And once this is done and approval is given, then the next step is to get this duly signed printout of application along with supporting document as listed above. Now we will quickly look at the application process, how the online form looks, what all detail goes in. You have to come to this website, ociservices.gov.in, and then click and you come down, set, have read instruction. Then you come to this page where you have to enter the CAPTCHA. You have two options here. One is to fill the new application and then complete partially filled application. If you have started with your application and at some point you have to exit, you can again resume from where you left. For that, you will require a ARN number, which I'll show you where to find. And once you enter the ARN number here, it will pop up all the details that you have filled up and you can resume from where you left. Now, click on the fill new application. Now on this page, as you start to fill, since you are a foreign spouse, additional detail will pop up here once you start filling it. So to save time, let me fill and show that. Now you see here this temporary application ID. Just make sure to copy and keep it in case you have to leave in between and resume from where you left. This will come handy. I had shown initially. Then when it comes to the place of submission, choose the country, and then mission drop down will show, select the mission. When it comes to given name and surname, make sure it matches with the passport which will be submitted. And in case surname is not there, you can leave it blank. Okay, this is not a mandatory field. So one given name and surname is entered, sex, date of birth, country of birth, place of birth, current nationality. All these are easy ones. Just have to match the record, what's there on the passport, and the national identification number. This is not a mandatory requirement. However, you might face challenge when you're going to the service provider, and without this information, they may ask you to fill the application again, which will cost you money. You'll end up paying huge amount. So just enter the passport detail, which will be a repeat here. But don't worry, if you are born in Canada or any country, that will be your document. If you have any other identification number, you can attach that. Otherwise, just enter the passport. Then visible mark and marital status here, married. Then come down for the applicant's passport detail. As I said, whatever is there in the passport, exact same thing comes here. And previous passport number, in case foreign spouse had any previous passport, that detail will come. Otherwise, just leave it. So once this is done, applicants, family detail. This is detail of foreign spouse, both parents' name, their nationality and profession. Again, cannot make a mistake with spelling. And why this is getting asked? Because depending on profession here, okay, it might have an impact on your OCI. So that is the reason. Be truthful, give all the required document. And once this is done, when it comes to the spouse detail, in your case, are you applying OCI on basis of Indian spouse or spouse's OCI card? The response will be yes. So once click yes, as I said, there is a wait period of 2 years after marriage before you can apply for OCI. And in your case, you already had the interview with the High Commission or Consulate General, and that's when you're filling this application. Then comes the spouse name, nationality and profession. Here, the spouse is the Indian spouse or spouse who is overseas citizen of India. Or fill their detail, their date of birth, marriage registration date. Make sure, check your marriage registration certificate and enter the date. Spouse passport number, if it is Indian passport, that detail will come. If spouse was earlier Indian but now a different nationality, that detail will come. And when the passport was issued, expiry date and place of issue. Now, spouse's local address. Here for the local address, right? Whether it is abroad or India, whatever address you're writing here, make sure it matches with spouse's identification address document. If it is driving license of spouse, whatever is written, exact same way, make an entry. So once this is done, you select whether the marriage happened abroad or outside India. If it is in India, then you select this, and then you will be asked if the marriage is solemnized India, whether marriage registered with the registrar of marriage. So if it is yes, you select yes. If it is no, then you will be asked additional question. And same goes when you are married abroad. So once you click on abroad, see here, marriage is solemnized abroad, whether the marriage certificate is apostilled or certified by Indian Mission /Post. So this is a mandatory requirement if marriage is done outside. Only if you write yes, your application will further get processed. Otherwise, this has to be done in your case. Get the answer, what needs to be done. Here I am choosing India. Marriage was solemnized in India and registered in India. So saying yes. Whether marriage still subsisting, response showing yes. Have to select depending on what you choose. You will be asked question and it will be decided. Now, whether you have more than one living spouse, whether your spouse has any other living spouse, you have to answer that. Here I am showing no, and then save and confirm. In this section, this is for the foreign spouse, their occupation, address of employer, all the address details are filled. So these are mandatory sections. So you'll have to fill that. And then applicant's address date. Now, I'm assuming that both of spouse, they have similar address if they are in one. So address code, mobile detail, telephone number, email. All these are mandatory requirement which has to be filled. Don't have a telephone number, you can enter your spouse's phone number or mobile number, or just keep a number where someone can reach you, just in case they have. Once this is filled, next. So this is the section where you verify all the information which has been filled so far and check for its correctness. In case you want to modify this, you have an option to modify here. And once you have gone through and you know that you have done check, recheck, cross-check, and everything is okay, you click submit. So once you have submitted, your reference number is now ready. Copy this reference number and keep it. And then now you need to have your photo and signature ready. So there are specification requirement for photo. Once you click here, you will get to know. I've made a video. So this is the detailed video where I have shown how to make sure that the photo specification is correct and the signature part is correct. When you're getting the photo taken, make sure it is from a professional photo studio as per the specification required. I'll show you the specification. So this is the page where the specification is given, how the photo has to be, the size, and what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. So if you go to a photo studio, from a professional photo studio, they know how to take the photo. They will ensure everything matches as per the requirement, and that way you are stress free. You make sure you retain the bill from that photo studio or receipt from the photo studio, just in case you encounter any issues when you're dealing with the service provider when you're submitting your application. If they say this photo is not to the liking and all those things,
and you want to check and ask over an email why this was rejected, because you will be paying money for any photograph which you take at the service provider's location, and it's expensive. Once you take a photo from photo studio, you know that everything as per the required standard. Once you have your photo and signature ready as per the specification, make sure you watch the video, because it's a little tricky when you try to upload. So once you have both of them, click yes, I'm ready with the image. Now this page will open, and here you have to upload a applicant's photo and applicant's signature. I'll show you. See, once you upload the photo here, right, you see this blank. For that, the image to come here, you have to click crop and then resize photo. Okay, here I'm showing the sample photo. This will be applicant's photo here. And once the crop is done and you see the image here, this is good. Same thing with the signature. So with the signature, you click crop and then make it to the size. And then once everything is okay as per the requirement, you upload. Your image has been uploaded, and you will see the photograph and signature. This is what will come on the OCI card. And if you want to upload again, you have option to do that. If you feel confident, you can just say, I have uploaded successfully.
This document section we already have gone through in detail. So all your documents are organized. You just keep that ready to be uploaded on the application form.
So, I mean, this is a very important section. You have to go through every single question and respond. Here I have shown answer as no, but you will have to choose the response based on the question and how it is in your case. And if there are any yes, you'll be asked for more detail, which is self-explanatory. Once you go in, you get to see that. So we come down here. Okay, all this have been no. Here, what I'm showing, present nationality detail of the applicant, that will show up, and acquisition method from the drop down. You have to show how the method is. Here I'm showing by birth, and automatically from what was previously filled, the date was. Then previous nationality of applicant here by default shows as Canada, and because it's the same passport and it has not been surrendered, here just mentioning not app. Now, do you have relatives staying in India? You have to choose your response. If it is yes, then relatives name, their address, relationship and age has to be mentioned, and keep adding a number of relatives there. Okay. After that, has any of the applicant faced criminal proceedings? Has to be answered, and once this is done, submit. Now, here in this upload section, you see there is a re-upload limit of 5, after which re-upload is not allowed, and there is a document view limit up to 3 times. So once you upload the document, you can upload 5 times, and there is a view section. I will show you that you can view 3 times. So to avoid any confusion, just make sure documents are properly labeled beforehand, and when you're uploading, you confidently know what you're uploading. So this is the list of document. Okay, it's a long list. Now, current passport, that will be foreign spouse's passport, which will get uploaded. Foreign spouse's employment or work letter, that will get uploaded. Then joint declaration of subsetting of marriage. I would suggest call it peerless ones, because you would have had interview with the consulate. They would have those details and they have approved. So whether this uploading is required or not, marriage certificates will definitely go as an upload. And then spouse's passport, is Indian or Indian origin spouse's passport, he or she CI card holder, that will go. So you have to go and upload all the documents. So after checking with the BLS on what all upload has to be done, everything has been uploaded. That is foreign spouse current passport, employment work letter, joint declaration of subsetting of marriage, marriage certificate, which is attested, and spouse passport, everything has been up. And then final sub. Then you can generate the registration form. Once you click here, once you open the PDF, you see here it shows as foreign spouse applicant, and photo, signature, everything is seen here. Whatever you have filled so far, everything is captured here. File number is mentioned here, and when the application was filled, those details are there. Now you have to take a printout. Take all page printout. I think there are 7 page. Take all 7 page, even if only first 4 page has all the required information, the other 3 pages instruction. The reason being, the service provider will charge you $5 per page to take the printout, which you can avoid by just taking a printout for 5 cents, 10 cents on your own. Take the printout, and once the printout is taken,
I'm showing this website, which is consular website for Toronto location. So you can see here for the new OCI registration, here it is in Canadian dollar 376. depending on which country you are, once you check that consular website, you will get to know what the fee is. So here there are two demand draft which has to be made. You see here, one demand draft is in name of the consular fee which must be paid through bank draft only in favor of the Consulate General of India, Toronto. So this is how it will be given. So this will be for $376. And then additional BLS charge. If you are in Canada, it is $1.76. So for that, you will again need to have one more demand draft separate. Again, the challenge is that when you go and take demand draft with the bank is going to have a fee. It could be close to $10. Just ask bank to waiver and they would in all probability do that. When I was applying for the OCI card, every time I made a request, the bank waived it off. It's just matter of asking bank. $376, the Consulate General of India, Toronto, and $1.76 for BLS charge if you are in Canada. Now, if you're doing a walk-in, BLS might give you an option to directly pay for only their service because they have other services like postal pickup and drop and all those additional service. So once you connect with BLS, you will get to know this detail. Again, whichever country you are, the service provider, for example, in most cases, BLS, VFS, or some other agency could be there. They would tell what the charges are. Once this is ready, you hand over all your documents, the fee, and then wait for about 4 to 6 weeks to get your OCI card. This is the entire process for the foreign spouse who is applying for OCI.